Well, Coach, I guess I'll kind of go over the sad note. What were your thoughts on Hank Aaron? I know it's a little off the basketball, but
Well, I'm a big, obviously I played college baseball, so I'm a big baseball fan. So I think if you do your history on Hank Aaron, not only was he a great player, but he's a great human being. So it's a big loss for baseball. I can't say he was my favorite player. Roberto Clemente was my favorite player, but what Hank Aaron accomplished was unbelievable.
Keith, what did you learn the most from playing these guys recently, and how do you apply that this time around?
I think, look, they're a different type of team than Rhode Island. They're very disciplined. They're very similar to us. If you watch both games last year, we were almost clones of one another. We were probably a little bit better on the inside, and they were a little bit better on the perimeter than us. They have the ability to defend well because of the big guy at the rim. And one of the keys last year for us is we got him in foul trouble, and they become a different team when he's in foul trouble. And obviously, the first game, we didn't do a very good job on Lofton in the second half. We did a good job the first half, and not very good in the second half.
Keith, you've mentioned before about how hard the rims are, I guess, at La Roche, and how it's a tough place to put the ball through the basket. Do you think your team's shown improvement on outside shooting in that gym over the past couple of contests?
Well, my late mother was a psychologist. She's a psychology professor. So I figured I'd take them over there one day. We'd shoot a lot and we'd fix our phobia. So we fixed our phobia, and now we can move forward.
What was the risk of taking them there that day and having them not shoot well?
Couldn't be any worse, Tim. Listen, as we all know in business, you have to analyze risk and reward. So I figured, heck, we might as well go over there. It can't get worse.
Keith, what was it like at practice with these guys after the big win? Was it tough to get them back down to earth?
We didn't do anything yesterday really but lift weights and then individuals shoot a little bit. We have to make sure that we play our game on game day. I think our goal is just to get better every single day at everything we're doing. And so we worked hard against the post double today because we had trouble with it the first time we played them. We worked hard on, some of the actions they beat us on. And we're making a lot of mistakes that younger teams make that don't allow you to be championship quality. But we compete hard enough at the rim that we offset some of them. But until we fix a lot of the basic, guarding the ball, guarding actions, until we get better at some of those things, we're not going to win at the level we want to win at.
Keith, two things to follow up on there. When you just said you were working on the post double, you talking about them doubling you guys in the post or vice versa?
Well, we worked on both, but we've been good at the post double all year defensively. And some teams have done it, like St. Bonaventure did a few things that they hadn't done the first 3 years against us. They post doubled us every year, but they came on the pass for 3 years. And then this last game, they came on the dribble. So we got a little bit confused by that. So we worked on that today. And listen, if Mike Hughes and Marcus Weathers play at a high level, we'll be in every game. That's kind of how I see it.
And the other thing to follow up on, when you had said before you wanted to do a better job on Lofton, is that just individually whoever happened to have him, or you guys as coaches wanted to do a better job deploying who you wanted on Lofton?
We have to do a better job all the way around. So that involves guarding the ball one-on-one. That involves ball screen defense, getting him corralled. It involves, coming off a down screen, staying attached. It involves post help off those down screens. Basketball is such a team game as far as it may appear one guy's getting fried, but in reality, it could be a team problem. And so, or it could be one guy getting fried. So you have to analyze how they're hurting you, why they're hurting you. And one thing we know about Lofton is when the game's on the line, he's going to try to make plays. And so he was 1 for 7 at halftime, and we knew it was coming. And we did a poor job of really buckling up and getting ready for it. And we paid the price. You know, had we done a better job on him from the 10-minute mark to the end of the game, we probably win that game. But we didn't do a good enough job on it. And the one thing I know in sports is you better not let the best players beat you, right? Like, if you let the best ones beat you, then shame on you.
If you mentioned if Marcus and Michael, play well, you're going to be in every game. That has to be an encouraging sign, since those are two of your three most experienced players. You should expect them to play well.
Well, they're starting to get in better shape. Like you've seen Mike the last 2 games, he's played much better. And then it's both offensively and defensively, having enough energy to really do both. And then obviously Tavian has to play well. I mean, we don't have much margin of error there. And I don't have any doubt that Tavian will play well before it's all over. You know, he's been in a lot of games. He's been in an NIT game. He's played a lot of games for us. He's been here a long time. And he's one of those guys that all of a sudden he could explode. And, we're just talking to him about just trying to, and it's something that he's never had to do, is trying to just build his game from the defensive end. Just emphasize the defensive end and not worry about the offense. Because if he does that, I think he'll improve offensively. And really, if you really analyze it, he won us the game last game by taking that charge on Fats Russell off the handoff. So it's a bunch of little things that wins games. And that's not really his forte or how his game has been built, but he's more than capable of being able to do that.
Coach, you mentioned how Michael Hughes has been able to play better over the last couple of games. How valuable is his ability to pass the basketball for your team? I know that was an improvement he made last season, and he's continued to do it well. It seems like when he has more than 3 or 4 assists a game, you guys always seem to win.
Well, when he's in the game, we tend to win, So you saw what happened when we didn't play with him the last 10 or 12 minutes of the half. We struggled. So, I mean, we got to try to keep him in the game. And, he had a couple tough calls. Those were tough calls in the first half, that we just got to keep him away from silly fouls and coming down on blocks. But we want to keep him aggressive as well because he's a good shot blocker.
Coach, you guys shot better from the free throw line last game. What do you think is causing you guys just get more comfortable, or where that kind of changed there?
Well, really, if we're going to shoot a high percentage, Marcus and Mike are going to have to shoot a high percentage because they're going to be the ones fouled the most. And Marcus shot a crappy percentage for the first games that we played, and so our percentage stinks. And then last game he was 6 for 7, so our percentage was better. So he shot, I think, 65, 66% last year, 67%. If he shoots 70, I'll be happy. If he shoots 70, we'll win some games because he's going to get to the free throw line. He's already shown that.
Where are you seeing that conditioning with Marcus kicking in the most, Keith? What aspect of his game was that evident the most against URI?
Well, I thought he had better burst and better quickness in the second half to the rim.
That dunk where he kept going up.
Yeah, he got a steal. He was a little more active defensively. That's probably been our biggest complaint with him so far this season is his defensive effort has just been okay, But I think most of what's ailing him is straight conditioning. And again, like I told you, he wasn't here in the summer or, he came back late in the fall, and he got locked out in Overland Park where he couldn't get a lot of places to work out. So he paid the price and we paid the price.
You see Tyson getting more playing time moving forward, Keith?
That's an interesting question. I think he's doing a really good job of protecting the basketball. He's still got improvement areas defensively and scoring the ball, but his field passing the ball is good. The guy that I think, too, that we need to get in the game more is Mikey Bakelja, but it's hard because I think he's the best. He's one of the better defenders that we have on the ball, and his toughness level is good. But again, we have trouble shot making, so if he doesn't make shots or Tyson doesn't make shots, it's a little harder to play him. So we need both of those guys to be able to make shots for us to really take the next step. So you saw what happened when we made shots out of Chad Baker's spot. Now all of a sudden we look like a real team. But if you don't make shots out of those 1, 2, and 3 spots, it becomes difficult.
Keith, you're playing a lot of freshmen every single game. Has there ever been an issue of confidence with any of these guys? I mean, Chad seems like a confident guy, as does Toby, but have any of these other guys ever had any self-doubt when, thrown into these situations?
Well, I know Chad doesn't. He's crazy as hell. So, I mean, his dad was a pro, so, he thinks he's good. He's confident, and he's got that loose personality, which allows him to just relax and play. He feels like he's playing at the park. That could be a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like every once in a while, he'll take a shot that'll be mind-boggling, right? Or he'll take a risk defensively, which is mind-boggling. But he's one of those guys that his instincts are good, his shooting ability is good. I think everybody has some self-doubt. They're in a new situation. We have to build confidence in that. The unfortunate thing is we're learning the game in conference games, which generally isn't a good thing, so you can view that 2 different ways. You can view it as, boy, that's tough, or you can view it as if they're hanging in there pretty good, then those guys are pretty good players. I think Dre Harris is a lot like Chad. He's pretty instinctive. Toby's different. We have to teach him some things, but athletically, he made some big plays. He got a big rebound. He contested the shot late. So every one of those guys is a little bit of a different case. And I think, that's kind of where we're at with them.
Keith, you obviously went through a period where your team struggled to shoot on offense, but you're still, if you look at your defensive numbers, I think 4 of the last 5 games, you've held teams under their average. You're maybe like top 50 or 60 in effective field goal percentage. Do you feel like your guys did a good job of not letting those offensive struggles leak into the other side of the court?
That's really a great point, Alan, because most teams that struggle offensively have trouble defensively because nobody really loves. There's no stats at that end really, other than shot blocks, and you don't get any national acclamation from being a good defensive player. You just don't usually. So, and I feel like we're leaving a lot of points. We're leaving a lot of points on the table defensively too, because we're making a lot of mistakes. But we're offsetting them with length at the rim. Even Chad Baker, he recovered on some plays that we couldn't do last year. He blocked at the rim, he walled up at the rim. And so look, if we can get better defensively and, we get a little bit better flow offensively, and then we tighten the reins when it first happened to us too, Alan. So, we knew we weren't ready as a team. So we tried to shorten the game the first couple, 3, 4 games to try to win. And then we you could tell a little bit against Rhode Island, we kind of let them loose a little bit more. And eventually if we're going to be a good team, we have to just play basketball. We got to let them loose a little bit. And because if you can't get transition baskets, it's hard. So we let them loose a little bit. And I think if we can continue to let them loose, it'll help our team.
I guess you haven't been doing as much yelling over the last couple of days, right?
I'm trying to calm my blood pressure down. It's funny. You guys didn't watch the game last night, did you? The Lakers game?
Yeah. Lakers, yeah, it was a good game. Yeah.
So what was predictable about that game?
What, that the Lakers we're going to recover magically from that tough loss against the Warriors, or just the way that LeBron had it rolling? I mean,
Well, LeBron's going to have it rolling. Why? Why do you think LeBron had it rolling?
because he's LeBron James.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the reason he had it rolling is he's not happy about the MVP vote last year, right? So,
Ooh, so you want to get some on Giannis? Okay.
oh yeah,
All
like
right.
this guy's a prideful human being. Like, so that's kind of the reason I bring that up is that's kind of what I'm appealing to our guys on is look, man, look, we got to have some pride. And Marcus, Mike, Tavian, like if you can win now, it's all going to be because of you, right? And a lot of people don't think you can win, and a lot of people have given up the ship. So, like, you're going to get all the credit if we win. So, have pride, invest in yourself, show people how good you can be, you know, do the right thing on a daily basis on every play. And so that's kind of where I'm at with our guys right now. Like, you got a lot to prove.
Keith, did you ever have to raise your voice to a team that LeBron was on like you did on Wednesday?
I used to raise my voice way more than I do now. Like, can't do that crazy shit now. And keep it up, right? Like, I'm mellow yellow, right? I'm just.
Keith, have you ever considered a Zoom call with LeBron talking to your team?
No. And you know why? Because that's the reason he likes me, Jerry, is I don't really ask for a lot, and everybody else does. So I really don't hit him on. He's already done enough for me, man. Like, that's the way kind of how I see it. So when the occasion's right and it really matters, and it's good for Duquesne, and it's good for us, and it's good for him, and it's an NCAA tournament game, then I'll call in the chip, and I guarantee you he'll say yes if he can, because I never ask.
Yeah, will Maceo play Saturday?
Tomorrow's Saturday.
I think so.
You always got to ask me these tough ones. Not like I told you, we're going to be very slow with Maceo.
Okay.
We're going to come out again.
I promise I won't ask you every week.
You can ask me every time. It's fine. It's a legitimate question, and you have a job to do. So we're just making sure that he's absolutely perfect before we move forward. And I feel like he's done an unbelievable job of acclimating back with his teammates. His teammates have been great with him. He's really good for us. He's got this temperament that's calming. And I think when he does come back, you're going to see a better player. I think you're going to see a more relaxed, less worried about what others think, trying to live up to his billings. Like, we've just tried to keep him. Basically, my message to him is just go out and have fun, man. Like, let the game be fun, and let your life be fun, right? Like, we all need reminded of that. I told him today, look, I need you to help me have fun. So I like having him around because he's a very calm, nice human being.
So Keith, does this change of the game here open things up for you to reschedule, like slot something in that last week in March if you can get there? Is that the hope?
Wasn't my decision. Wasn't Dave Harper's decision. So I guess that's our hope. I mean, I like the week off kind of to try to, it allows me to like maybe enjoy one win for a while, you know, and then keep working on things to get us better. But in some ways, playing's good too. You know, like playing's good because if we can win, then we can get on a little roll. And we're certainly capable of winning. We were right there to win there. You know, now they're good. They're solid. They're number one in the league. You know, so we have a great opportunity with them being right now the best team in the league. So it's a great opportunity for us. Just got to keep Mike Hughes and Marcus and our guys in the game. If we keep them in the game and we play reasonably well, we'll be right there.